2018 was the worst year ever for Team Fortress 2 for content and update wise, with no major update coming out this year, obviously being we've gone past the point. What will be the future for 2019, and my overall thought of the shitness that is Smissmas 2018. Now obviously, I expected a bit more, somewhat of Screen Fortress level. You know, a couple of taunts, a couple of war paints, a couple of cosmetics, and maybe the odd thing here and there of changes. And I would have been happy with that. All we got though was a shit ton of medals that nobody gives a damn about, some odd bug fixes from Screen Fortress and MVM, and a cosmetic case. That is really disappointing. But hang in there, Polis, the TF team is only a small team, so you gotta cut them some slack. I think someone has said that before, that said even though it would take maybe them less than an hour to pick maybe 10 random cosmetics and 10 random war paints from the workshop for Smissmas, it probably wouldn't take that long, and same for the taunts. But again, with the lack of communication, the community has fuck all information on what's going on in the TF team. While I am grateful that the team that is there, they are dedicated and determined to work on the game to make sure it's good. I am grateful for that. If they've just made a blog post saying, hey folks, Smissmas is going to be a very small update and probably only have maybe 1 or 2 things in it, as we are currently working on, let's say, the heavy update or a major update for 2019, and that is why we haven't been putting out so many bug fixes or anything like that. No, they haven't said anything. Hell, I feel like sending an email to one of the TF team devs asking why you communicate with the community and everyone is very upset and angry. But yet again, they're most likely not going to respond. They're not going to respond, obviously, because they're probably working on the major update. Does 2019 look grim? Well, as today as this year's an omen, it might be. But I want to be a bit optimistic that we will get our major update that we were supposed to get this year. 2019 will be the year, and I think a lot of people really need to stop thinking we'll get a major update every year. With the small team we have, it could be maybe once a year, twice a year, if you think about it. I mean, yes, it was a year apart from Meet Your Match to Jungle Inferno, and the heavy update might be longer. But there's no excuse for them not to communicate with the community, and that is sad. So when do I think our major update will arise and it will be worth the wait, if it is really worth all this waiting and pain in the arse angriness? It will either be a late spring update or a summer update, most likely in mid to late June. That would be the perfect time to release it. And if it does come out in spring or summer, at least if it's good enough, the wait was worth it, and at least we could say we've had a major update which will lead Smissmas and Screen Fortress, but mostly Smissmas, to be better. But I could be wrong. Again, some people are very not optimistic and don't really care. And I think someone just said great job Med to me. I don't know, I wasn't paying attention when I was playing. But still, will we get a major update? Some people says no, we won't, and Team Fortress 2 is dead and Valve are just doing this to grab more money and milk the cow away. That's Valve, but people really don't think what the TF team think. They probably love the game to death and they're just trying their best. If there is, let's say hypothetically, that there's a team of, let's say, 6 or 7, and you're working on, let's say, the heavy update. You want to focus to get this update done as possible, but you can't sacrifice one person to write something on the blog post because you need that person, let's say he's an encoder or whatever, that needs to work on the update. that is fair enough. That you want to focus on the update and less on communication, but the consequences of not communicating is the community being very negative, being very upset, and thinking of the wrong things. With this current year, with developers being really shitty and AAA games being absolute cocktease and politics in them, and political correctness, and God knows what, they should not be in video games. It's quite understandable why people are so angry of developers and companies nowadays. My Artifact was, well, an absolute shit show and failure, and they should have been working on Team Fortress 2, fixing that game, CSGO. I don't know what to say. 2019 will probably get a reasonable Screen Fortress just like this year, and probably better than last year. Smissmas, I hope we get better results than this year, maybe something to last year, but major update wise, I expect it to come out either late spring or mid to early summer. Possibility when everyone's on spring break, finishes colleges and schools. That's my guesses, and that will be the end of this part of the video. Now to Smissmas. What am I supposed to say? I'm not really satisfied with it. Medals from a game, things, competitions I don't really keep up to, and a single crate. Case, whatever. It's not good enough. I showcased a couple of Smissmas hats. I even haven't finished the other ones. Actually, I think there's no point carrying on, really. I could carry on, but, you know, I can't put Smissmas now because we've already gone past it. The update's out and I shouldn't be standing there. It's just bad. The content's not good enough to come back to the game. And they missed, yet again, another good opportunity to give us a decent update. While the cosmetics are reasonable with the odd bad one here and there, it's not good enough. Not enough to satisfy the community. If they made bigger balance changes, you know, more fixes or a huge bunch of new stuff, then I think the community would have been happy enough for Smissmas. Now, some people will probably have the excuse, at least we got an update, I'll cut the TF team some slack, they're only small. Or, it's Smissmas, it's Christmas, it's the thought that counts. There's really no excuses, really, for the lack of content that Team Fortress 2 has. And that's the major problem. If the TF team just communicates and explains themselves why TF2 has a lack of updates for 2018, then maybe the community would have been a bit more open about it. How can an 11-year-old game that has a little over 50,000 players on a daily basis not get as much support like Dota 2 or CSGO? Well, maybe more of Dota 2. It's really disappointing in every margin that this game's not really getting the respect. It's not getting the content that we used to get. Even when you look at the history tab of this website, you can see that the decline of updates of over the years. I think gaming in general has had a really nasty effect. And I think with games nowadays being pushed in with politics, agendas, and just absolute nightmares. And not to remind you, the whole Article 13 madness that's going to be happening in January. So either way, maybe the TF team are sort of getting ready for that. I don't know. 2019, will it be the year that will save Team Fortress 2 or damn the game? Because if it does damn the game, where are we else gonna go? Because I can't think of any other game to really spend my time and support with. Because TF2 has always been it, that game. And screw Overwatch. That's an abomination. It feels like it's just going to be milked and turned into one of those competitive scenes. Activision Blizzard. Ugh. Come on, Valve. Pull your finger out of your arse. You got 4A games, Epic Games coming at you now with their version of Steam. At least give the TF team something, at least to help them, because they need some sort of support. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.